What's up everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Shawn, GILL CPA with Neutron Tax, and today you're here because you like to do crimes. Let's get to the desk and talk about how you don't have to do the time. We're gonna talk about what you need to do if you haven't filed taxes in multiple years. Let's go. Let's talk about what you need to know and what you need to do if you haven't filed your tax return for multiple years. So let's say, life got busy, you got distracted, you missed a year, maybe you've had a couple tough years, lost your job, etc. It slipped your mind and you found yourself in a situation where you just haven't filed any tax returns for a multiple time period of years, right? Multiple years. First thing you need to know is that the name of the game in this situation is to play catch up. Yes, you need to file all the returns you missed. In most cases, unless you made absolutely zero income, you need to file a tax return. And even in those cases, I personally recommend to clients to always file a tax return, even if you've made no money that year, just to stay compliant. You don't want to show the IRS that you've missed a couple years here and there, even if you're 100% in the right and all the tax law says it's okay. I always recommend to clients, don't give them a reason to bother you. Don't give them a reason to pick you out of the bunch, just file. A blank return is better than no return in my opinion. We call those informational returns. Second thing you need to know is that you have to file your tax returns in consecutive order. This means that if 2019 was the first year you didn't file, for example, and it's 2022 now, you need to file 2019, then 2020, then 2021. You can't go 2021 or 2020 and then 2021 and then 2019. You have to go in order. The reason being is that tax returns often have carry forwards. So let's say you lost some money on a stock trade in 2019 and you have a loss that you couldn't take that year. That can be carried forward into 2020 to offset income that you had in tax year 2020. And there may still be remaining loss that can be then taken forward into 2021, or maybe a tax credit that could be used in multiple years. Things like that, they matter year to year. So you definitely want to make sure that you follow the idea of going in preceding years, or consecutive years, I mean. And also, the other reason you want to do this is because let's say you haven't filed in like 5 years and you file your most recent tax return. Now the IRS system knows we have all these years blank and then he just filed this year. It's going to start sending you notices for those past years and you're just going to get tangled up in a bunch of headaches dealing with the IRS, audit agents, and all sorts of different stuff that you kind of would have probably never even had to do if you had just filed in order. So I always recommend to go in order. And you need to go fast. Speed is the name of the game here, along with catch up, okay? The faster you go, the faster you can prevent yourself from filing late for future tax return years. For example, you can get 2019 to 2021 done before you're late for 2022 as well. All right, we don't wanna keep this circle going. The next tip I have for you is to find a good CPA or a good tax professional that can work with you on this project. You need someone who's willing to take on this type of work. Not every CPA wants to deal with back taxes just because it can become a huge headache. So I highly recommend finding someone who will work with you on this and be patient and help you get through filing all of these and catching up on your taxes. Hey, I might be able to help you. If you need to get caught up on your taxes or you have any other kind of tax issues, feel free to go to the link down below and schedule a call with me directly. We can talk about your tax situation and figure out how I can help you. Now let's get back to the video. The next thing you're going to want to do is get organized, because when you have so many tax years, you can only imagine how many tax documents you have to collect. Okay, think income documents, W-2s, 1099s, brokerage statements. If you have rental income, rental properties, business income, all of your business deductions, charitable giving, medical expenses, insurance information, healthcare, just all the different things, right? So many things you need to kind of gather. So I recommend making a list of, okay, in this example, 2019, where did I work? How was I paid for that? What bills did I have, blah, blah, blah. So sit down and make that list and get everything organized so that when you go to a CPA or a tax professional for help, you already know what to show them. And that will make their job and their lives a lot easier, which will also help you get your tax returns done extremely accurately and quickly, which, like I said earlier, is very important in this scenario. And the reason why it's so important to get this done quickly is because penalties. So let's talk about the different kinds of penalties that can happen when you haven't filed taxes for multiple years. There's two main kinds: the failure to file penalty and the failure to pay penalty. Failure to file penalty is the penalty you get for missing a tax return due date, and the failure to pay penalty is a penalty you get for not paying a tax balance that's outstanding. So in the case that you wouldn't have gotten a refund and you would have actually owed taxes, you get a penalty for not paying those on time. And each of these penalties is percentage based and goes month to month. And also there's interest on unpaid penalties. So as you can imagine, you can really rack up some large bills here depending on how long you've had these tax returns and payments outstanding. The good news is if you're expecting a refund, then you don't get the failure to file penalty and you don't get the failure to pay penalty because there's no tax balance for you to pay. You were actually supposed to get money back. Something to be aware of though with that is if it's been more than 3 years and you file for a refund, you've actually given up your right to that refund. There's a statute of limitations on when you can get a refund, and 3 years from the filing due date of the original return is that deadline. Now, of course, unfortunately, there is no statute of limitations for how long the IRS can charge you interest or penalties for not paying tax. So they leave it open for them to, kind of come after you for as long as they want, and they close it for you to get the money that's yours. Yeah, you guys can already put together what I think about that. Also, something to know is how the IRS's e-file system works. So their e-file system lets you e-file tax returns for the current tax year and the last 2 preceding tax years. Meaning in 2022, you can file tax year 2021, which is the most current tax return to date at the moment, and then 2020 and then 2019. Those can be filed digitally. Also, the e-file system is usually taken down around November and December of the year, so it can be maintenanced and upgraded for the next tax year. So if you're trying to catch up on a tax year that is on the 3rd most preceding tax year, so let's say in 2022, you're trying to file 2019, you have until November or December 2022 before they turn off 2019's e-file. So that's another reason to work fast and be diligent, make sure everything's accurate, but move quickly. Any year before that, 2018 and before, has to be paper filed. That's just how CPAs and tax professionals, that's a term we use to describe filing by mail, which is definitely the worst way to do it because one, it's the highest risk because you have to trust the United States Postal Service with their postmarks and delivery. And you also have to, if you're paying taxes, you have to send them a check, which is already, a little suspect. And then also you have to get wet signatures and you have to attach physical paper copies of tax documents when you mail these returns out. Also keep in mind when you file a tax return, unless you live in a state that has no income tax, you're filing 2 tax returns, okay, 2. One federally with the IRS and one with your state. So if you're paper filing, you're sending 2 different packages to 2 different places, and we always recommend that you get these marked as certified mail so you can prove the date that you sent them to make sure that they're 1, received by the IRS and the state, and 2, that they're timely if you're filing anything, with a due date with the IRS and mail. But also this costs money, so all around paper filing, don't recommend it. So I highly encourage you to get your tax returns done while the e-file system is still up for that year. So in 2022, the 2019 e-file will be taken down. So each year that goes, it's a rolling 3-year period essentially. So think about it like that. So this makes it even harder to file old tax returns. So, keep your head up, I guess. It can become really annoying, but it's definitely worth the trouble to get everything filed and caught up on. Every client I've had in this situation always tells me how much stress they feel has been relieved from their shoulders, how much weight's been lifted off their shoulders once they've been caught up. Nobody obviously likes to pay their taxes, but people feel a lot better when they're up to date and compliant. So be diligent, work hard, work fast, get it done, and keep your head up. So that was the end of this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment. It helps me grow the channel. If you need help with your taxes, you can book a call with me directly at the link below in the description, and you can also sign up for our email list. We only send out an email about once a month, and that's everything I need to tell you. So I will see you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace. Have a good day. Appreciate the views.